Greg Smith.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and it's a privilege to follow the powerful speech from the Honourable Lady for Mitcham and Morden, and like you, Mr Deputy Speaker, congratulate her on the bravery of sharing that deeply personal family story, and that Parliament is richer, no matter how difficult and emotional it was for her to share that story with us. Parliament is richer, and this debate is all the more powerful for that story that she has told, and I thank her for sticking with it and for sharing that in the House this afternoon. I send my best wishes to her sister as well. This is an incredibly important debate. I thank the Backbench Business Committee for giving us the opportunity to debate the issues around brain tumours, around finding a cure, around saving lives and prolonging lives this afternoon. And I particularly thank my honourable friend for St Ives for the dedication he has shown, not just in opening the debate today, but in his leadership in the All Party Parliamentary Group on brain tumours, for working so hard to raise awareness of brain tumours and highlighting the importance of research in improving clinical outcomes for brain tumour patients. It was a privilege to serve under him on the All Party Parliamentary Group inquiry that led to the recommendations my honourable friend spoke of earlier, the report, Brain Tumours, Pathway to a Cure, Breaking Down the Barriers. And if there is a simple message, Mr Deputy Speaker, that I wish to convey in my remarks this afternoon, it is a sincere plea to my honourable friend, the Minister, to take this serious, evidence-based report seriously, to act on its recommendations for the good of all brain tumour patients today and into the future, to save lives. For as others said, despite £40 million for funding being made available by the Department and delivered through the National Institute for Health Research in 2018, less than half of that has actually made it to researchers. In fact, as of May 2021, only £8.8 million had so far been allocated by NIHR for dedicated brain tumour research. It was said by the department that more had not been allocated due to, and I quote, a lack of basic science discoveries. But that, I would suggest, Mr Deputy Speaker, is completely missing the point and represents a huge omission in the types of patients being offered trial treatments. Clinical research is pivotal to improving health outcomes for patients with brain tumours by developing new methods of prevention, diagnosis and treatment. The benefits of clinical research extend far and wide, with evidence showing hospitals involved in research provide higher quality care and have lower levels of patient mortality. Yet the All Party Parliamentary Group's inquiry uncovered that there is a gap in research funding along the pathway of discovery, translational and clinical research, which manifests itself in, firstly, an uneven distribution of clinical trials across the country, secondly, the inability of clinicians to secure government funding for translational research, which takes discoveries from research to the bedside of patients, and thirdly, a lack of staff time for research and a lack of NHS resource to support those patients on funded research studies. The All Party Parliamentary Group report lays out in stark terms the extent to which years of underfunding and neglect for priority areas of research into treatments made the task of reaching parity between patient groups that much harder. In particular, the report highlights how the lack of funding for research into childhood brain tumours, where survival rates for the most aggressive tumours have remained unchanged for decades, have led to frustrated families, upset families, worried families, seeking costly and unproven treatment abroad, which in turn prolongs suffering both for patients and their loved ones. Indeed, 5 years after the allocation of funding, there are no new treatments. And the 5-year survival for patients is still just 12%, I believe. By the 25th of January, just £15 million had been awarded since June 2018, with £6 million of this not easily identifiable as actually relevant to brain tumours. That, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I would respectfully put to my honourable friend on the front bench, is not good enough. The report's analysis of funding to date highlights that the Medical Research Council and the National Institute for Health and Care Research contribution was £1 million each, with Cancer Research UK contributing £13 million. Researchers have become increasingly reliant on charities such as Cancer Research UK and Brain Tumour Research. These organisations, don't get me wrong, Mr. Deputy Speaker, these organisations do fantastic work, day in, day out, demonstrating the urgent need for more funding, yet their calls are not being met. And indeed, at this point, I would like to pay tribute to one of the most inspirational campaigners and fighters on this cause, my constituent Sue Farrington-Smith, who is the Chief Executive of Brain Tumour Research. She raised £108,000 within the first year of the charity, following the tragic loss of her niece, Ali, who passed away less than 3 weeks before her 8th birthday. Sue was subsequently invited to talk about Ali's dream at the second UK Brain Tumour Society conference in 2002. She then helped to facilitate the meeting of brain tumour charities, researchers and clinicians at a UK Brain Tumour Society workshop in March 2003 to develop a vision for the brain tumour community. 12 years since the inception of brain tumour research has provided funding in excess of £15 million to early stage science and continues to support sustainable research across the United Kingdom, raising awareness of brain tumours and campaigning for better outcomes. Sue and everyone at Brain Tumour Research are true heroes, making a daily difference, and deserve to be recognised and credited for all they do. Indeed, Brain Tumour Research continues working with and providing the Secretariat, as others have mentioned, to the All Party Parliamentary Group, and I am very grateful for the support provided with the most recent report, as outlined by the Right Honourable Gentleman for Leeds Central. To conclude, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I wholeheartedly support the report's recommendations as detailed and outlined by Honourable Friend for St Ives, including the establishment of an NIHR trials database that is readily accessible to all clinicians across the United Kingdom, with clearly defined and regularly updated eligibility criteria and location information, and an awareness campaign that is delivered through the National Health Service to ensure that the trial database is available to both clinicians and patients. I want to end, Mr. Deputy Speaker, by looking back at the inquiry evidence sessions, reflecting on what consultant neurosurgeon Baba Vakwas told us, and I quote, "As a clinician, I want to be able to sit down with my patient and input all the relevant data about their brain tumour type and their treatment pathway, and then to search an up-to-date, progressive UK trial registry. This would enable me to discuss appropriate trial options there and then, giving the patient choices that a modern health provider should be able to offer." Let us heed those words, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Embrace this report and make a difference. Yeah.